Hey everybody, watch this review here with something a little different. That's right, it's a glass of orange juice. I'm going to see if I can go the whole review without spilling this here glass of orange juice. Anybody who's watched any of my previous reviews knows I have a pretty bad track record for putting stuff down and just making sure it doesn't fall. In fact, right now this damn thing's going to tip. Alright. Now, when I first started putting together my profile and all that, I mentioned I was going to be reviewing a bunch of different things, like games, movies, besides action figures. So today I'm making good on that, and we're taking a look at Zot, the complete black and white collection by Scott McCloud, who some of you might know from understanding comics and making comics. I personally did not, but I'm not really huge with the comics. I haven't been in some time, so there might be a legitimate reason why you should know him, but let me know what you think, because I hadn't heard of him. But I picked this up at a local library. I read through it. Took me about 2 days to get through I think it was 800, 900 pages. No, it's just 600 pages here. And I loved it. I went out there and I checked eBay, got a cheap copy of this for a personal copy. I think I've read through it 2 or 3 times now, and I've just really been taken with this in a way that I'm usually not with normal comics and such. Lately I've been reading a bit of manga, and a few of those guys have excited me somewhat, but this is completely different. It just seems to match and mesh the whole action and the whole dramatic elements very well with the simplistic art style. Very understated, very retro. Just take a look at a few panels. I'm going to try to keep spoilers down to a minimum. But it basically features the 2 parallels between the perfect world of Zod, a time-traveling, I guess sort of time-traveling, but a dimension-traveling boy from a parallel Earth, and Jenny, a girl from this Earth. Where's that panel? This is something I probably should have done beforehand, but I may just put a dozen bookmarks. Ah, here it is. Now here's the idealistic world that Zot comes from, which it's a beautiful world, very technological, supposedly the same year as the Earth is there, but as you'll see in earlier things, our Earth looks just a lot dingier. I guess Zot somehow comes through a portal. He finds this Earth. He meets up with Jenny before all this stuff happens, and there's some romance going on and so forth. But both of them are young. It's 14 and 15-year-olds, maybe? Just check out some of this style here. I like their unconventional take on the whole comic thing, where instead of going for panels of dialogue, sometimes they have a solid picture with all the dialogue going. Actually, that's probably the one instance. Other times they have just a row of rapidly changing expressions and just various shots of the room. Let's see if we can pop that there. This guy right here. Not sure how great this is going to come out. I'm looking at it right now, but it's kind of blurry. But it's just interesting how they just flash back and forth between the 2 of them. Their expressions change slightly between this. Now, a lot of this doesn't deal with the traditional superhero, supervillain stuff. The early chapters do. This guy here is 9jack9. Very cool dude. He has a power to travel between any electric currents or rays, anything that's electric nearby. This guy's Zybox. I think it's very Brainiac-esque. Even right down to some aspects of his personality, where he's just a really cool, ominous-looking presence. Usually he has the whole reverse shadowing. But the first, I think 6 to 8 issues are all between the 2 worlds, where they're going back and forth, lots of hero-villain fights. so forth. And then it goes to the realistic chapters, which I think are pretty great as well. But I mean, it's just a whole different angle. Each one focuses on a different character, their hopes, dreams, aspirations. Some issues focus on multiple characters. There's a nice cover from the end. It's just I just happen to like the, not loss of words, but it's a very simplistic art style, very nice storytelling. Now, for some reason, I don't see much commentary on this on YouTube. I noticed that there was one review, but I'm not sure if this is just one of those under the radar sort of comics, or I don't know, maybe it's just out there and it's like old hat. But I mean, if you look up like Watchmen, I'm assuming that you'd probably find hundreds and thousands of different YouTube comments and stuff, but I mean, probably a lot of it has to do with the movie. You know, I just thought that people should be aware of this. It's a great volume. It's available very cheaply. I got mine off eBay for, let's see, I think it was about $3 or $4 with another 3 or 4 on shipping and handling. I think Amazon offered about the same, so it's under 10, and it originally retailed for, I think it was like 25, so it's a bargain as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why you can find it so cheap at this point, whether or not it is in fact old hat and everybody's heard of it, everybody has a copy, and it's just not very popular for some reason. But I thought it was a spectacular concept, spectacular volume, or at least a spectacular take on a possibly a little bit overused thing. And of course, the author, Scott McCloud, constantly interjects between chapters with a few pages of page or two of dialogue, just comments on what he thought he might have done better, what he's learned since then, and of course his real life parallels, which are fairly interesting. You know, anybody who's interested, pick this up cheaply. I highly recommend it. The other review that I saw on YouTube also recommended. All 3 guys, I guess, liked it, so it's probably worth a look if you can or can't find it in a library, or, you know, you just buy it, because it is cheap. Well, I think I'll wrap it up. I think I've rambled long enough, and you'll notice I have not spilled, nothing's fallen, so I think I've done a pretty damn good review. And I will be going back to doing figure reviews. I really want to take a look at Mongol from the Slex, and of course the Monkey Man that I've teased, but first I've got to get some better lighting and stuff, because it looks a bit yellowish when I'm looking at it here. It looks far worse once I upload it to YouTube, so. Alright, that's that. See you next time.